Alright, I'm going to show you guys how to replace this in about a couple easy steps. First, you're going to take out the screw right here. I do this one-handed. And the plate comes off and you've now exposed your outlet. We are now going to take out that screw right there and the one right here. Once you have removed it, you can now carefully pull this out to expose everything. Make sure to not touch the black. This homeowner had backstabbed. I do not recommend doing that. Alright, I have taken off the hot from the black, but before you should do any of that, you should make sure your breaker is off. And you can also get a tester to make sure that the stuff is off, which it in fact is. This is just for demonstration, how it changes color like that. Tells you that it is live. So now we're going to take off the other wires, which we already know that's bad. We're going to get different wire nuts as well, because it's just my preference. Now that I've completely taken that off, I'm going to now install this brand new one, okay? The reason why I do that is because that is pretty exposed, and yeah, it's very easy to pull out. That was very easy. I have myself here about a 7-inch piece of 12-2, and I'm going to turn that into my pigtails so they can connect to the receptacle. And there's our new pigtails right there. I'm gonna strip end off each of these two, and then put a loop and a loop and one loop on this one. I've now stripped off the ends, put loops on them, and put a loop on this end. We're now gonna wire nut these grounds together, and then we're gonna do our neutrals, and then we're gonna do our blacks. Okay, we have now pigtailed them all in. You know, they're not going anywhere. You don't want to see any solid copper, obviously, except your ground coming out from under the wire nut. And then now we're going to hook up our device. We are going to start off with the ground, that because it is the most safest, because even if we did have power up here, we know it would be okay. So we're going to start off with the ground. We're going to put it to the green screw, because that's where it goes. And then this is a more copper, bronzish type of color. That is for your hot over here. And this more silvery color right here, that is for your neutral. Another thing is, watch the way that your screws go. So obviously righty-tighty. So the ground and the neutral have to be facing down. Your hooks have to be facing down. That way, so it'll go righty-tighty. Get good clockwise connection. Alright, it then should look something like this. If you would also notice, these two were also out, and I screwed them in because you're dealing with electricity. You don't want anything to be sticking out any more farther than it should and causing a trip, fire, anything like that. So you have your black on your bronzy one, you have your white on your silver one, and then you have your ground. Notice how these are like very tight. There's not much copper coming out the back here, but it's also not touching the screw, because that's a hazard. You don't want this to be coming back out of there. It's very bad. Like this one, it's iffy, but it's not showing out the back there. I could do a better job. And another thing is, you want to keep your wires nice and tight back and in there, because you don't want anything to like look bad, things crossing. These two right here and here, this should be on this side, this should be on that side, but the way that the box fell and how they tied it in before, that's just, you know, how we're going to have it, okay? Come with these screws, And these screws are obviously going to go through that hole and that hole, just like the other ones. But first, you should tuck your wires in as much as possible, and I will show you how to do that. You're just going to like push in, and then you're going to like work it up, back down, until this can go in. Okay, you can kind of see what I did. Like I folded it back up and over. I did that for both sides, so this can go right in like that. You should now take your screwdriver and screw those 2 screws in right there and right there. Once you have now screwed that all in, you can now take your plate and your screw, put the plate back where you had it, and then we're going to screw in this screw. Okay, now that it's on, a pro tip that is to have it either straight up or straight side to side. I prefer straight up and down, that way so dust doesn't easily collect when it falls down and gets locked in there. To prove that it works, I have this Alexa right here, and I'm just gonna plug it in, see if she gets power, which she does. There you go. That is how you replace wire, whatnot with an outlet / receptacle.